Three. Big. Hi, everyone. I'm Shua Allegra. You probably know me. If you're new to me, I'm the founder of Grace and Hope Consulting. I am a certified counselor and life coach, as well as an author and speaker. So today I have Sharise with me, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I am Sharise Nance. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and certified clinical trauma professional. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I recently took up a position as an adjunct professor at the University of Pittsburgh, where I'm working with master's level students, teaching a course on clinical social work in African American communities as a social worker, and this is National Social Work Month as well. That's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm so passionate about my helping professionals, especially social workers. So I'm just excited and grateful that I was given that opportunity to use the platform to help social workers advocate for themselves, become better advocates for the clients in the community. And I also have a private counseling practice as well.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, I love it. So we have, two things in common. I guess both that we're, so we're working, helping people, and we're in the mental health field. But I'm also a certified clinical trauma professional. So awesome. Yeah, I would love to talk more about that later. And and the funny thing, my brother, the only brother I have sisters, both side of my families, but the only brother that I have actually just completed his master's of MSW, Master Social Work,
Oh,
in
okay.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, and he lives there, so I have family down there, and so
Okay.
yeah, it's neat. I love connecting with people who are,
Degrees of
um,
separation.
yeah, so awesome, awesome. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit of why you do what you do. I mean, you obviously are passionate about it, whether it's doing your own clinical work, in your office, or teaching, at the University of Pittsburgh. There's passion there. And so what led you to doing what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Well, I'll start with why I became a social worker. I knew I always wanted to help in some capacity, just didn't know how I wanted to do it or the vehicle that I was going to use to get there. I grew up in the Homewood, East Liberty section of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I saw a lot, experienced a lot, and throughout my journey, I have always been a very shy kid, which is pretty funny because now I find myself as a speaker and I'm very comfortable in speaking now, but I was very shy and I was even bullied as a little girl. So I have always been passionate about helping other people find their voice as I was learning to find my own voice. I know how important that is. Typically, we're usually waiting for someone else to advocate for us. But ever since before I had the business, when I was in a field accompanying parents to school meetings, to court hearings for their children, the main goal was to get them to a place where they felt comfortable in using their voice and advocating for themselves. Because guess what? We're not going to be here forever. At some point, we're going to move on. So it's about tapping into their strengths and helping them trust to use their own voice, and us, tell them, hey, we have hope, we believe in you. So this journey started with me helping other people advocate for themselves.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love the advocacy work. I do some of that in different levels as well. But I remember being in schools, I did inclusion in schools for kids with kids who had IEPs, and
Yeah.
get included into the school system. And yeah, being there with the parents during those IEP meetings and over school meetings was just empowering, even for me. And like
Mhm.
sometimes people forget that parents are want the best for the kids,
Yep.
and sometimes
A lot of parent blaming. Yeah,
right, and then people don't always realize when parents are getting upset or doing certain thing or saying certain thing, it's just because they're that passionate about their kids and they just don't know how to articulate it.
Yep.
And so it's always a good reminder, to be there and see if it doesn't matter. We all communicate in different ways, and yes, we all need to learn, better communication skills all across. But I think, sometimes in the professional field, we forget that, people that we're helping bring a lot to the table,
Mhm.
and that bothers me. So like that's why with what I do, I often have no problem sharing that I wear a dual hat, that I'm both a parent, but I'm also a professional. So no matter whether it's, we're inclusion in schools, or it's, community resource, inclusion in the community, or resource in the community, or it's in the mental health field, or speaking, it doesn't matter what platform I'm on. I always want to make sure that people know I'm bringing that dual hat with me, you know, and
Right.
because yeah, people sometimes we just forget. So thank you for the work that you do. It is
Yeah.
inspiring and it's empowering for families as well. And a lot of us go into this field because we have our own experiences and we want to give back and want others not to go through the things that we went through or have the support that we wish we had when we needed it. So awesome, awesome. So that's why you do it. Now, if for your practice, I guess, tell us a little bit about when you started your practice and
Yes.
clients that you see there.
hmm So I'll talk a little bit about that. So hand in hand counseling services, my good friend Tess Kinney, we went to college together. She's my business partner, and we worked at a lot of the same organizations together from the time we left college up until we decided to do this full time. So we always had the vision of wanting to help people. Honestly, I never dreamed that I would have a private counseling practice. That was not my goal. Honestly, I didn't know what my goal is. I just knew I wanted to help.
Yeah.
And when we were at one of our last jobs before we started the private practice, we started to talk about a lot about it because we've done a lot of work in the field. We're in the community. We're doing home visits. We're working with these larger systems. We're seeing parents feeling disempowered. We're seeing them afraid to advocate for themselves for fear of, being stereotyped, being silenced, and, all the stigmas that come along with that. And we're thinking like, what can we do in order to be in a position to not only advocate, but help them advocate for themselves, to provide a quality service to the community. And that's when we start thinking about our own private counseling practice. And then we finally just did it instead of talking about it.
Yes.
Came up with the name Hand in Hand Counseling Services. We started it in November 2013. Can't believe we're coming up on 6 years.
Wow.
We actually opened it on my birthday, November 1st. So it's like,
Wow.
I'm in it for the long haul. I have to have good
Yeah.
memories on my birthday. So we opened it, and it's when I think of it, it's almost like raising a child. I'm
It
not
is.
married yet, but I have a lot of experience with kids, a lot of family members with kids, and then talking to some of my closest friends, the challenges, the rewards, everything that they go through. That's what we've experienced with Hand in Hand, just
Yeah.
giving birth to it and watching it, where we didn't have any clients. We didn't know how we were going to pay the rent. We didn't know how we were going to get clients. We had faith, stayed persistent, had a strategy, had a ton of support. And
Awesome.
we started off in a small office space. I remember Tess and I were, I was there 3 days. She was there 3 days. We both still had our full-time job. And then, just really getting out there and promoting it and marketing it and having a good plan. And I took marketing classes because you got to be a good marketer if you're in
Yes.
business.
Yes.
And then 6 years later, we've grown to a full group private practice.
Wow.
We have 3 other therapists and intern, and we're looking for an administrative assistant. And we accept all major insurances, and we have some people who opt to do private pay. But to be able to leave our full-time jobs and to provide opportunities to the community, and to have that impact and know that it's something that you created. This was a vision. This was something you gave birth to, and now it's like it's a 6-year-old. So it's just I
Yay.
just feel so full talking
Mm.
about it, just knowing where we came from and where we are now. We couldn't have done it without the support of so
Mm,
many
mm,
people.
mm. Wow, wow. Congrats. I mean, for having
Thank
a 6-year-old business. And I
Yeah.
know just, being a business owner as well, it is like having a child. I often refer to Grace and Hope Consulting as my fourth child because I had 3 kids. So
Mm,
this is my fourth kid because you
that's a
invest,
good way to look at it.
yeah, you invest so much in it. And it's not
You
just money,
do.
it's sweat equity, honestly.
Money, effort, time, especially time, because we know
Yeah.
time is non-refundable. That's something
Yes.
that we
Yes.
can't get back. So it's, I'm just thankful. And during that journey, I would say maybe about a year in, no, maybe less than a year in, I decided to write my first book. That's
Awesome.
something else. I'm also an author, and I've always liked to write since I was a little girl. I remember when my mom used to work and I would stay with my grandparents. She loved the stories, so I would write a summary of the stories and give it to her when she got off of work. So that was my first experience with writing. So my first book, which is I guess you could say my second baby, Vitamin C Healing, The first book is Vitamin C, Healing for the Mind, Body, and Soul. And that became a brand in 2016. And that's where that brand is for helping professionals, for us, for people like me and you, because I don't think we're supported enough. I think that this can be a very rewarding job, and it can also be thankless. The compensation is low, but the expectations are high. And I don't mean just the money. When I say compensation, I mean the appreciation and gratitude, because we work with a lot of clients who have experienced a lot of trauma and pain and suffering. So we're not looking for that from them because of what we came through, but it's about those systems. You know, how often are we getting recognized? So I want to use Vitamin C Healing as a platform to bring attention to the work we do is just as important as a doctor, as a nurse. You know, we're helping professionals just like them. I've worked on treatment teams with nurses and doctors and other professionals, and the social worker and the mental health portion of that treatment team was just as important, if not more important, because we're the ones engaging and connecting with the clients. So we're getting what we need out of them in order to drive that treatment. So I just want us to start getting our due.
I hear you. Wow. And I just, as you're talking, I'm just thinking about, you know, the how people get compassion fatigue, you know, all of that in the field,
Oh my
and how
God.
we all need that, you know, that vitamin C, right? So I'm just thinking about how, you know, and honestly, I was thinking, my book, the second one I just wrote, was on stress relief, and like April is the stress awareness month. So I'm just thinking even how you can, you know, bring more awareness, because people think about we're the one helping people, you know, deal with their stress and, you know, be the providers, be the supporters, but who's supporting us?
Absolutely. And that was the whole mission of, well, initially when Vitamin C Healing came out, it was kind of foggy. It was just self-care. But then I became more focused because I'm like, this needs to be more. What can I make this in? My husband's like, well, think about how you sometimes go after work. Think about your colleagues. That has to be called something. I'm like, it's called compassion fatigue. And I knew about it, but I didn't really know about it. So I started doing a lot of research. I invested in courses and got certified. So now I do workshops on that. I wrote a couple books on it. I created online courses, which are on hold now, but they're going to get up and running because I want to make sure that they're really good to go and that people get value from them. But I'm so passionate about that whole concept of compassion fatigue, secondary trauma, because so many of us, I believe it, that many of us will experience it at least 2 or 3 times throughout our career, but it's about having the tools to be able to get through it. I look at it as like the common cold or virus, like it's in us if we're doing this work because we're so compassionate. So that's the cost of caring, right? So it's about being able to work through it because the only way out of it is through.
And that goes for not just for, you know, as, you know, counselors and therapists and, you know, trauma professionals, but I'm just thinking about all caregivers. You know, people caring for the family members, or people doing youth groups in the community, you know, like Big Brother, Big Sister, or the boys club, or whatever it is that, you know, people are in the capacity where they're caring for someone else.
Absolutely.
Nurses in the hospitals. It is that, you know, the I guess middle-aged woman taking care of her mom, you know, who's not a senior. So like think about all of us who wear that caregiver hat, were, you know, really, you know, that exposed to compassion fatigue. It's like, you have to, like you said, we have to work through it, and so that you don't lose your passion, what you're doing, but also that you can help more people. And sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves when we're helping others, but we realize, honestly, if there's no you, there's no care from you, right? So
absolutely
pouring on yourself first. Oh, thank you so much. So how can people connect with you, whether it's through the book or the training that you have coming up, or is the or your counseling services? Like, how can people connect with you?
So the website for the books and workshop information is on the website, www.vitaminchealing.com. That's one word, VitaminChealing.com. VitaminChealing.com. You get the books, the workbooks. You can contact me or ask me any questions that you have. We have some workshops coming on, so just, you know, go to the website so you can get more information. I'm on Facebook under my first and last name, Sharise Nance. And if you are in the greater Pittsburgh area, you can, if you are seeking counseling, HIHcounseling.com, that's our private counseling practice. hand-in-hand counseling services. However, just so I don't like to overcomplicate things, if you go to the vitaminchealing.com website, there's a link for you to where it'll say counseling, and you could just click on the counseling from, just to make things simple, because I
Yes.
understand confused and overwhelmed people don't do anything, and I just want to make
Right.
sure that you're able to get the resources that you may need. And when you go to the vitaminchealing.com website, on the top there are different tabs just to make things more organized for people. There's a compassion fatigue tab, and it talks
Mhm.
about compassion fatigue. And there's a self-care tab. So there's an opportunity for you to take a look at the latest Calm Mind, Calm Body,
Mhm.
Calm Spirit journal, which is about what we were talking about, stress and
Awesome.
anxiety relief, 26 techniques. And you can also get a self-care t-shirt. So please
Awesome.
go and check out the website. There may be something for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either through the website or, on Facebook at Sharise Nance.
Okay. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here,
you
and
for
thank you
having me.
so much for the work that you do. It's so needed and so important.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll connect soon.
Yes.
All right. Have a good day.
You